In London, technology is the Silicon Roundabout. Introducing a new talk show dedicated to the people of the London technology startup scene. Silicon Real. Each week, interviewing entrepreneurs, venture capitalists, financial technology, accelerators, and incubators in an exciting three-person format. Learn about the people behind the innovation. Locally filmed, locally sourced. Silicon Real. It's about the people. Okay, let's do this. This is Silicon Real, the weekly talk show dedicated to the people of the London technology startup scene. I am Brian Rose. I also host London Real, which is a similar show. We've had fellow people from San Francisco on, like Tim Ferriss from the 4-Hour Workweek. We had Kelly Starrett, who's a CrossFit guy there, has the mobility WOD. And I'm sure more people that have come from Northern California. We've also had famous drug dealer Howard Marks. We've had Max Kaiser from Russia Today screaming about Bitcoin. It's a crazy show, but that's London Real. Today we're here to talk about tech. My co-host is entrepreneur Colin Pyle, who runs online language school Lingos. You got the coffee company Crew Cafe. Yep. Is your Kickstarter finished?
No. No.
You're like 98.4%.
I know, that last little bit is,
okay.
It's quite difficult. So we just sponsored a really cool event at the end of January, Women in Business. It's a really cool event. So they're sending some information out. So hopefully it will push over.
So how much we talking? How much money?
£800.
800 pounds. Okay. And how much time do we have left?
27th it ends. So yeah.
Okay. Feel free to text me over Christmas if it's getting close.
Yeah.
Just be like rally the troops.
Well, there's a point of no return.
Okay.
So it
will happen.
Yeah.
You'll make it happen.
Yeah.
Okay, awesome. All right, best of luck with that. Our guest today is Ms. Lauren Sherman, who is the head of community for TaskRabbit, which is an online marketplace that allows users to outsource small jobs and tasks to others in their neighborhood.
Wow, you nailed it.
Pretty good, huh?
Yeah, really good.
She is in London, as we are right now. You've moved here recently. I want to get to that, but just a little bit about TaskRabbit. You were founded in 2008 by a female entrepreneur. Her name is Leah Buskey.
Yes.
Another woman with a dog. There's pictures of you with the dog.
Yeah.
She's got the dog.
She's got the dog. I got the dog. We all have the dog. The dog is a huge part of our culture. So
hold on, this is just one dog we're talking
about? No, actually, there's been two dogs.
Two dogs.
Yeah.
Do you discriminate with people that don't own dogs when you hire?
You know what?
No.
The answer is no.
Okay,
because our HR woman Emily is watching. We don't discriminate, but I have a personal preference for people with dogs.
I saw an interview with Leah, and she had her dog, and then I saw Lauren with the dog. So I just wanted to check on that. But
actually, I could talk. It's really important to know that we actually got a brand new golden retriever puppy like a week ago in the office. So I'll show you guys some pictures.
An office dog.
Office dog, yeah, but the office is just like crawling with dogs.
All right.
Yeah.
I want to get back to the dogs, definitely, but I just want to get through your funding. You've raised, I believe, about $38 million.
Yep.
You are in 19 cities in the U.S. You have 20,000 TaskRabbits. Lauren, welcome to Silicon Real.
Thank you. I'm really excited to be here.
And you're our guinea pig for the ultra live episode. You're cool as a cucumber. Thanks so much for being here.
Yeah, no problem. Really
I want to know, how is London treating you? You're over here. You're about to move here permanently.
Yeah.
TaskRabbit is in 19 cities. You guys obviously know what you're doing in the U.S.
Yep.
Why come to London?
Yeah, so you know what? We've been wanting to come for a long time. Is really the long and short of it. We actually ask our users, where do you want us to come next, right? So the way we determine where we're going to launch next is we have people actually plug in, come to my city. And we do a pulse via Twitter. We have something on our site that says, if you want TaskRabbit to come, let us know where you live. And just the demand for London was so overwhelming that we actually got more demand for London than we did with some of the cities that we've already launched in the US. So it really was the anticipated user base here. And then also, just the rise of peer-to-peer startups in London was so big that we knew that it needed to be our next city.
Was there any other international city that was close?
We're really excited that London is our first international city, and we're looking forward to launching in more, but London was definitely the front runner.
Okay. And was it important for you guys to go international just to kind of get to get that, out of the way and to move on? Or is this just another city in your mind?
No, not at all. Not at all. Yeah.
Okay.
So
global expansion is kind of, this is the first step.
key.
I mean, so obviously, our London expansion holds a place in my heart, because I'm one of a 2-person team that launched our city here, launched London. And so London is super important to me, but it's also really important to our team back in San Francisco. And Leah, our founder, especially, I remember when she first came out to London to do sort of get a pulse on things, she came back and was like, oh my God. She's like, this is a TaskRabbit city. We've got to go. She's like, I am just so excited. But her enthusiasm was fed by the enthusiasm of the people that she met here, And so, when she got excited, she rallied the team. We all got really excited. And that was about 1.5 years ago that we really started, thinking about it and getting ramped up. And, most of the team in San Francisco is dedicated to making London successful at this point.
When did you get here?
Yeah, so it's funny because people are like, oh, when did you get here? And when I say September, they're really end of September, they're really surprised because at this point, we already have our inaugural TaskRabbit group, we're launched, but mentally, I've been in London for about 1 year. We did a survey to people in London prior to coming. We've done a lot of research, a lot of demographic testing, that sort of thing. So myself and my counterpart Shishi, who does all of our customer service and user development, have been working on this launch, but back from San Francisco for quite some time. So long answer short, I got here at the end of September, and then spent between the end of September and the end of November ramping up to launch.
Okay. I'm always curious what people think when they first get to London. I mean, I've been here 12 years.
Yeah.
You've been here
2.5?
2.5.
Yeah.
But when you fly from San Francisco to here and you walk around for the first week, I mean, you say it's a TaskRabbit kind of town.
Yeah.
What do you see when you land? What do you see as opportunities and what do you see as things you're going to have to be challenging you, when it comes from business?
Yeah. So from a business standpoint, the one thing I noticed, when I first landed here, I moved into a flat and, it was furnished, but there weren't towels and there weren't sheets and there weren't any of the stuff that you need to live, right? And I'm very much accustomed to, I'm our key demo. So whenever I'm in any of our U.S. cities, I very much buy into and believe in the concept of if you don't have enough time to do it, outsource it to someone else who does. And I was getting ready to launch a startup in our first international city and had very little time. So I, was running around trying to get all these things done and navigating the tube for the first time and was I now understand what Leah was saying by this is a TaskRabbit city where London is a very do-it-yourself culture, right? I might not have all the time to do it myself, but I'm going to get it done anyways. And I'm going to just get it done and take it all on myself. And that's when I really resonated with me when I was I don't have anyone to help me with these things. And I am, working 60-hour weeks and I'm, getting ready to launch the startup that I realized that there was really a need for it here.
I never thought of London as a do-it-yourself type city, but it is kind of get on with it. And how come I can't have this food delivered? We'll pick it up. It's it's weird that extra layer of service isn't implied.
Always there. Yeah,
it is in the States.
I think in the States and Canada too, I often find service in general is just at a much higher level. And probably because tipping is quite part of the culture. So 15 to 20% tip is kind of what people normally get. And here and in other cities in Europe, often tipping is not normal. So I find the service really gets hit hard. So
Yeah.
You see that in restaurants.
Normal.
You see that at pubs where there's no kind of waitress or waiter culture. So you will wait into it in a line for 50 people to get a drink at a pub, and you're like, how can this inefficiency in the market exist?
Yeah. And I think it's just a matter of, peer-to-peer startups really became popular 5 or 6 years ago in the U.S. With the rise of Zipcar, Airbnb, those types of startups, and so that's when you started really what we think of as relying on your neighbors and saying well, I don't want to stay in a hotel when I travel to Brazil, as you say, as you are probably doing quite frequently. I'd rather stay with the local. I want to meet someone in my neighborhood, and for us, it's all about meeting someone safe and reliable that lives in your neighborhood that can help you with these things. So whereas TaskRabbit is, it's a service, it's also about getting to meet your neighbors.
So let's break down TaskRabbit. We always ask people that sit here, as far as TaskRabbit, what have you done and what are you guys going to do? And and why do you think you'll win in this space? It's a very kind of a unique business model, but it's quite a niche business model. I mean, neighborhood is a big thing in your vocab, isn't it?
Right. Yeah. It's all about being neighborly to us.
But for people that don't know anything about it, what do you guys do?
Yeah. So, you did it. You kind of hit the nail on the head. But TaskRabbit is an online and mobile marketplace where you can outsource your tasks to vetted, verified people who live in your neighborhood. So that's on the client side of things, right? And so our clients are typically 25 to 45-year-old women who typically have kids in the house or have really busy careers, right? So they're doing it all themselves. And, our motto is, every superhero needs a sidekick, right? So we're trying to develop a way in which, you feel comfortable, once again, relying on your neighbors for things. If you think about the times where, like, I remember when I was a kid, my mom was out of eggs, like she would call our neighbor and like send me over to their house and I would go pick some up rather than running to the grocery store. Like that, you can probably point at a few things why that isn't the case anymore. I think like the internet is definitely one of them, right? So we're so used to not having these in-person interactions. But we're trying to create a world in which like we can create online interactions and bring them offline. And it's this really beautiful thing when it happens, right? But then on the other side of things, I work most closely with our taskers here in London and also in the US. And the really cool thing about that is like it's a group of entrepreneurial people who have decided like 9 to 5 is not really for them. They would rather choose when they work, who they want to work with, and choose the jobs that they do. And it creates these really beautiful offline interactions where you're getting to meet people that you otherwise wouldn't have been able to interact with.
What are some typical transactions on TaskRabbit?
Yeah, you mean task-wise?
Yeah, just so people get an idea, like what would someone do?
Totally, yeah. So our 3 main categories, right, are handymen, house cleaners, and then just general PA work. But these aren't like your typical house cleaners or handymen, right? So some of my favorite stories are, Chris Ma, who is an ex-VP of marketing at Macy's in the States, right? When the recession hit, he lost his job. And was looking for something to do on the side. And he just started doing TaskRabbit just to make a little bit of money, get money rolling in. And he never self-identified as a handyman. Like he knew he was generally handy, but, didn't ever say like, oh, I could go be a professional handyman. He was getting hired on the site by, women who were either like too busy to, hang photos in their flats or to build things around the house. IKEA furniture is really huge assembly. Yeah.
Is that tricky?
Because we all hate it.
Yeah. Okay.
And so then he started doing it and realizing like, wow, I'm making really meaningful income doing this. And I'm getting to meet really awesome people. And then made the decision that he was going to be a full-time TaskRabbit. And we, see this over and over and over again where, you have this entrepreneurial spirit that you didn't know was there before. And that TaskRabbit really gives you the ability to tap into that.
So you breed entrepreneurs.
Yeah.
And do the TaskRabbits get paid through TaskRabbit, or do they just receive cash or get paid outside of TaskRabbit?
Yeah, so that's another benefit of TaskRabbit compared to a lot of other services that are out there is that, let's say you and I work together, the money is securely transferred from the client's account to the tasker's account, and then we take 20% of every transaction.
So is it like an Airbnb type thing where you pay ahead of time, or do you pay after?
You don't pay until the task is completed.
Okay.
Yeah. So to give you an idea of kind of what the product experience looks like, is that you would go to our site. We give you an option of 3 categories, and it's handyman, house cleaning, and then right now we're doing Christmas help because that was one thing that we found during our initial research was that Londoners are definitely strapped for time, especially around Christmas because Christmas is such a big deal around here.
Is it?
Yeah.
More than the States?
Oh my God.
Really?
God. Yeah. I mean, Christmas.
Toronto, it's a big deal in Toronto.
So I've never done Christmas in Toronto, but I will say that the Christmas spirit for me started here around the first week of November. It's the trees were going up, lights were getting lit, and one thing I've noticed that was way different is when I leave work in the last 3 weeks when I've left work at 6:30, 7 o'clock. Every bar is overflowing with people, and they're all in their Christmas outfits because they're having company Christmas parties. But then there's people outside with clipboards, so you can tell that it's a company or event or a holiday event. I don't see that as much as in the States where it's just the streets are overflowing with Christmas spirit. And so we're doing like wrapping gifts, Christmas shopping, help me with my Christmas events is a huge one. We just had taskers at the Twilio Christmas party, which was last weekend that the Three Beards co-sponsored, and they were checking people in at the door. So, there's really no end when Christmas time comes around when you could actually like use some extra help. Now that will probably become something more along the lines of like a PA category, like general PA work once the holidays are over. But those are the 3 categories that we launched with.
Okay. And where are you guys headed in the future? Do you want to be in all these cities in the UK? Is expansion a key thing? Are you thinking of the continent already or not?
We definitely have expansion top of mind. I can't, name what our next city might be. I'm really excited for further international expansion.
Is language an issue?
I wouldn't say it's an issue. I was personally a little bit nervous about coming to London because being a hyper-local company is super important to us. Like, we're not the type of company that, launches in a new city, even if it's a city in the States where we just like are saying like, oh, okay, we're going to San Diego, we're going to launch it and leave it. Like, we want to become a part of life in San Diego. Like, we want to totally ingrain ourselves. And so doing that equivalent in London is obviously a little bit difficult because of the localization. And so it's really important to us that we are hammering that, like that we have local people representing our business here, and that when you read it, it feels local, and that our taskers are local. They're all from London. You're working with someone else from London, so we need to be a local company. But luckily, there's no shortage of copywriters and really amazing people that are happy to help you get more custom, and translators. So I think that translation is a little bit of an issue. Like if we were to go to Paris, like obviously it's going to be a little bit more difficult than translating into UK English, but I don't think it's going to be a huge problem.
Okay, so scale intelligently. It sounds like what you want to do. I was checking out your Wikipedia page. First of all, they have a Wikipedia page. Where's the London Real Wikipedia page? Was somebody hooked me up? They have a Wikipedia page.
How do you get a Wikipedia page?
Yeah, so Wikipedia is actually like an interesting...
I don't have a Wikipedia.
You
should have one, and I should.
I would recommend. You guys definitely need one. I can help out. I helped with our Wikipedia page, but it's got to be completely from a third party perspective. Right. So you have to get someone from an outsider's perspective, and everything has to be based off sources. So you'll notice that we have like paragraphs of citations below it. But I can definitely help you get yours up and running. That's my first TaskRabbit. I'm going to spend my money here. Yes, I have to tell you. You know what? Yeah, so I gave these guys...
So can you explain this card
that
you just
absolutely.
gave us?
So I gave these guys 25-pound gift cards to try out TaskRabbit. And I have 25-pound credits for everyone out there as well. If you go to taskrabbit.co.uk and use the promo code REAL25, you get 25 pounds off.
That's hot.
So yeah, it's awesome.
And 25 is like Christmas.
But I have to tell you,
25.
I have a perfect tasker for you to do your Wikipedia page.
Okay.
So Bonnie, I don't know if you guys read the Kernel?
2 for 1 deal?
The Kernel.
The Kernel. It's a
That's Milo, yeah?
Yeah, Milo writes a tech blog here, and they did a great piece on TaskRabbit. Where they had Bonnie come in. Basically, they trashed their office, created an account on TaskRabbit, posted a task for someone to come and clean it up, just so they could experience the service. And Bonnie is one of our best taskers, and she's ex-BBC for the past 3 years, and she's a great writer, really intelligent. So I'm going to get her on your Wikipedia page.
Love it. All right, love it. You're buttering me up here.
No,
and those are the hard questions.
No, seriously, those are those. But that's just like I'm speaking kind of to the character of the community. It's like we have really intelligent people on our site.
It sounds like highly specialized knowledge bases.
Right, but they're highly specialized knowledge bases, but they're also generalists. So what's really cool about them is like they're entrepreneurs, right? And so they've got what we call the entrepreneurial hustle, right? Where, she'll help you build your Wikipedia page, but cleaning is not above her either. She's happy to do it.
How do you find these people?
Yeah, that's a really interesting. That's my favorite question, Colin, because that's really how I've spent the last 2 months of my time. So
it's like a planted question.
Yeah. It's written on the back of my card.
Conspiracy. That's a good question.
Yeah.
How do you find these? You call them taskers?
We call them taskers.
Okay.
Yeah. So we played around with like a variety of user acquisition techniques when we first came here. And what we found really works well is Facebook ads. And so I just did like highly targeted Facebook ads and we left them running for, I don't know, like a month. We got 7,000 applications.
Here in London?
Here in London.
7,000?
7,000.
Just from Facebook ads?
Yeah, just from Facebook ads. And, what we did is we put up a survey where we said, like, we were just trying to get a feel for, like, what it is that you're interested in doing, how many hours a week you want to do it, what, like, tools and resources do you have, meaning, like, do you have a toolkit, do you have your own cleaning supplies, do you have a car, do you have a scooter, like, how do you get around the city? So that was, like, our first vetting criteria. The most important question, though, is like, why are you excited about being like an inaugural member of the TaskRabbit community here in London? And that is where we really vet people based on their enthusiasm, because it's really important to us that they're enthusiastic about the site.
So you turn people down?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, we do.
They require a video interview and all sorts of stuff.
Yeah.
Right?
So actually, the vetting process in the UK is a little bit different. We designed it because it was really important for us to get the cream of the crop here in London. When we launched, we wanted only the best of the best. So from those 7,000, we looked at it and we were like, all right, so we're gonna probably invite 200 of these people to an in-person 2-hour orientation session at our office, so that I lead. So of those 200 people that we invited, we have about 70 people show up. And then from that 70, 50 people made it to our inaugural group that we launched with.
Okay.
So they go through a 2-hour orientation session. They go through test tasks. We had a beta group of people putting them through the ringer, where we just like made sure that they, can communicate well with our clients and that they were, the best people for the job.
Wow. All right.
Yeah.
The last part of the question I first asked, and that's why I looked at your Wikipedia page, is it has some of your competitors.
Yeah.
So why will you win in this space? What makes you different from the list of like 8 other companies, which, I'm sure have slightly different business models, but why?
Yeah, I'm biased because I am, I work so closely with our community, but, there's a few reasons why we're going to win. One is that we've been doing this the longest. So we've been at this since 2008. We've had a lot of wins, but we've also had a lot of failures as well, right? And
were you the first people in this space?
Yes, we were the first. And, I will say that, I'm a huge believer that you learn a lot from the times that you fail, because we like get up, we dust our knees off and we go back and try something new, right? And then our community, we have the most amazing people running these tasks, right? And they're the type of people where, like, if you have a house cleaner and they show up at your task, like, do you want to sit there and have a conversation with that person? My thought is, like, likely no. Like, that's different with TaskRabbit. Like, these are interesting, awesome people that, like, you feel comfortable having in your house and that you want to spend more time with. And that way the service becomes addicting, where you just want to use it over and over and over again. So because we put so much time and effort into picking who we want to be part of our organization, it really reflects well when the clients use the service.
Okay, fair enough. Well, this is Silicon Real, so it's time to get real. So, Lauren, we're going to hit you with a couple hard questions.
Right.
I'm going to go first.
Okay.
You guys charge 20% of the total task.
Yeah.
Some would say that's a lot of money.
Yeah.
What do you guys say? Why do you charge that, and why is that necessary?
Because you got to keep the lights on. You know what I'm saying? No, like it's true though. Like that has not always been the case. We've played around with different service fees, and that's just what we've decided on. Is 20% is really the sweet spot. We don't take it from the tasker. We charge it to the client. So the tasker says what they want for the job that they're going to do. So they say, I want 20 pounds an hour, and then we just add the 20% on top of that. And what we found is that clients are happy to pay for it, and the taskers don't think it's too much. I haven't heard that it's too much in London thus far.
And you found that doesn't deter people, or at least not significantly, that kind of price point?
Not significantly, no. And the thing is that...
Does the customer see that markup? So did he see the tasker fee charge and then your 20%, or is it just all one?
It's showed to them as one.
Okay.
Yeah. So I will say that I haven't heard that it's too much. There's... To me, it's worth the price of having someone who's verified, vetted, and has been put through the ringer and that's the reason why we charge it. So these are the very best people, and like I said, like our main demographic is moms and busy women. And one thing that we always think about when we're interviewing taskers is like, is this someone that you would want at home alone with your wife? Is this someone that you'd want home alone with your sister and her kid? We want to make sure that we have the safest, best people possible, and we think that the service fee reflects that.
I like that. You shouldn't be embarrassed about charging, making a profit or charging a certain fee. It's very American to come in and say this is our business model.
Provide the service to back it up.
Totally.
Right.
And I think that we very much do.
So with the 20%, so I guess one of the biggest issues with business models like yours, where you sort of get in the middle of the transaction
Yeah.
is circumventing. So how do you sort of, first of all, do you find it as a problem that if I hire Brian to do a task for me and I like him, then I just contact him directly next time for for a different task?
That's a great question.
Yeah.
So that's what we at headquarters call taking tasks off site.
Okay.
And so what we do is we're able to offer our taskers a lot of security, and one of which is that you are going to be securely paid within 5 business days of the transaction. So let's say you and I work together, you say like, Lauren, next time let's, take this off site. So, and we agree on 20 pounds an hour. And then I say, okay, like I'm gonna do that. And then, you're like, oh no, we agreed on 15. The tasker knows that the guarantee and the security that we can provide them is no longer there if they take the task off site.
Right.
And the same thing goes for the client, right? Like we advocate on both sides. So if something happens on the task, like we're the middleman, like we're responsible. So we make sure we have an escalations team in San Francisco who are incredible. And when you have people on both sides of your product, things do happen. And so we want to play that middleman role for a reason. And like we've created the platform so we can solve these issues when they do come up. So like, yeah, sure. I'm sure it's only human nature to be like, let's circumvent the 20% service fee, but the taskers don't do it because their security blanket is gone and their guarantee that they're going to, get paid is gone. And if they get caught doing it, they're kicked off site immediately. So then that way, any other further income that they could have made on the site is gone.
Is there a minimum amount that taskers need to do in order to stay sort of active on your account?
Yes, we ask them, one of our guidelines is just general availability. So we ask them to be available for at least 5 tasks a week.
Okay.
But the cool thing about our taskers...
So if they start taking stuff offline, all of a sudden it's going to be tough to do that 5.
At this point, like I said, we've been doing this since 2008. So like we have like what we call a spidey sense, where we just kind of you see,
you guys have a ton of data.
We have a ton of data behind this. It's very easiest for us to tell. And most importantly, like right now in London, we're so small. There's only 50 taskers. So I talk to most people every single day, whether it's on email or via SMS or on chat. And so if I don't talk to someone for 2 days, they're going to hear from me, or they're going to hear from Shishi, my colleague. And so we have a really tight read on it. We're at 20,000 TaskRabbits in the US at that point. So that's when we do rely like on the data and everything that we've learned.
What's your read on VAs, virtual assistants? Both Colin and I have had some experience with people, that do VAs. There's people in the Philippines, for example, that speak very good English, and they might be able to do some tasks, like you said, like a Wikipedia page, things where you're not actually on site. Do you compete with those people or not?
Yeah, like Mechanical Turk, those sort of things. No, I wouldn't say so. TaskRabbit is it's a very personal thing. So when, first off, virtual assistants is not one of the categories that we launched with originally in London. So right now we're not doing virtual tasks, but we will be very soon. In the US, we don't compete with them because, you're able to say, like, if you were one of our TaskRabbits, you were able to say, like, okay, well, I'm getting to work with this person who has 20 years of experience. I get to see their resume. I get to watch a video about them. I get to look at samples of their previous work. Like that, you might be able to get a little bit of that, but it's not really coming with the guarantee that we're able to provide.
So you guys really vet.
Really vet. I mean, our TaskRabbit profiles in the US are so robust at this point. I mean, there's a video of them, there's samples of their work, there's, a section that acts as like essentially a cover letter. So you get to really pick who you want to work with. So like, for example, personal assistant work, like I had an experience where I needed some flights changed in the US. And the way it works is, you say, I need someone to help me like get this flight changed. And it would be great if you could get it done for free. If anyone knows any like workarounds with the airlines. And like within 5 minutes, I had a guy that was like, I'm a 20-year airline veteran. I know exactly what to say to them to get this done. Like where else would that exist, right? So they're able to like put in a bid on the offer and then sell themselves while they do it.
Fair enough. You have venture capital money behind you.
Yeah.
We've had a bunch of VCs on here, and one of the qualities they always look for in a startup is scalability. And but for you guys, scaling is not as simple. You have to get people like you on the ground. You have to vet these rabbits, and so to take like a mobile app and scale it globally is one thing, but it's tougher for you guys to scale. So how do you remain attractive to VCs and investors that way?
Well, I'd like to think that we are quite scalable. Like we've figured out like a formula that really works. I mean, we're live in 19 cities at this point, and I just did London, and we've done like 5 cities in the past 2 months. So at this point, we're able to do it really quickly.
It's HR heavy though, quite a bit.
No, not really.
Not too bad?
Yeah, so we actually don't. In the U.S. everything is done through headquarters. So what we do is we don't have community managers on the ground. We like our operations team will take a quick flight out, meet our inaugural TaskRabbit group there. But at that point is when we really turn it to the community and say like, listen, this is your thing to run, right? So like you want to run tasks on this platform, like we need your help. It takes a village, so they say. So we provide them marketing materials, we provide them support, we provide them with training materials, but then we have what we call our TaskRabbit Elite in the US, where we kind of turn it over to them and say like, help us build this thing. And they take a lot of the onus on themselves. And it's really great because we have a 20,000 person workforce, right? That is part of our platform that can help us grow this business. And really we're doing the same thing in London where, there has not been a day gone by that I haven't used a tasker in London to help me build the business somehow. Like, for example, we just set up a partnership with Yelp where they're throwing this awesome, and I don't want to steal their thunder, but they're throwing this awesome event where they're rewarding businesses for just being great in London. And there's about 400 businesses that they're sending invitations out to. And they were planning on just doing it themselves and reached out to us and they're like, do you guys have any taskers that might be able to help us do this? And so tomorrow we have 4 taskers going out delivering 400 invitation boxes to different businesses in London, so like the taskers kind of become your marketing workforce. Like we can use them for, however they want more tasks. So they see it as like the more that they can get out there wearing their TaskRabbit shirt, wearing their TaskRabbit jacket with cards in their hand, like they know that means more tasks for them.
Well spoken. She passed that with the flying colors, right? She's like, I expected her to say, I'm head of community. Ask Leah. But boom, boom, boom. All right, you passed.
Thank you.
That was very good stuff.
Did I get an A or did I pass?
Yeah. No, I know. Passing is average.
That's the American. That's the American. It has to be an A. I can't just get a B or B plus.
I'd say that's like A minus. That's pretty good. You mentioned your elite, your TaskRabbit elites, and you guys use gamification in your business model. Maybe you don't like that word. I don't know.
No, gamification is totally.
It's all about like you have to do a certain number of tasks right, and you get the T-shirt, and then like there's a certain number of people that vie for like the tasker of the month, and it's this whole like game that people play, and it's I don't know. I thought it was fascinating when I read about it. So tell us about it.
Yeah. So that's part of I just want to be pretty clear. So that's part of our US product. So right now, since we just launched in London 4 weeks ago, everyone is kind of on the same level in London. So I want to speak to a little bit of how it works in London first, where basically the taskers are really just vying for positive reviews. Like what we've realized is like you get picked to work on a job because of your reviews and because of your previous work experience. So here it's working really well where we just say, thumbs up, thumbs down, would you work with this person again? Write a review about them. In the US, it does work a little bit differently. We have our TaskRabbit Elite where, if you run a certain amount of tasks, you get brought into this program where you get an elite badge that just shows like, hey, like Lauren is a TaskRabbit Elite, meaning like she is the cream of the crop on the site. And it kind of gives our users the insight of like, okay, this person is someone that has a lot of experience on this site. So we do these things to provide an excellent level of customer service for our clients, but it also makes it a little bit fun for our taskers as well. Now, yes, there's a little bit of competition to it. And like, yes, it is gamified, but I will tell you that like, again, these people are entrepreneurs. So at the end of the day, like what they really care about is making money. They want to make money on the site. That's why they're part of the platform.
So if you're like an elite tasker, you can charge more, presumably?
That's the trend that we actually do see. So when you first join the platform, like you might have like a 1 hourly rate. And as you become more senior and more of a veteran, you're like, okay, well, and it's the same way in the traditional workforce where you're like, okay, I started out at an entry level salary, but I've been around the block quite a bit. So like, I'm going to increase my rate. And they know that they can do that because they provide a different level of service than other people can. So yeah, the gamification is something that, it's really, it makes it fun for the TaskRabbits. But really it's all about at the end of the day, for the TaskRabbits making money. And then we do these things to make sure that the clients have an awesome experience and can really decide like who they want to work with based on a set of criteria.
Is that used much, gamification? I sure haven't seen it much in the UK.
Yeah, not as much for sure in the US. I'm just trying to think where you do see it. Well, you see it, so like I'm not sure if Busuu uses it, but some of like the online language learning sites use it. So, once you learn a certain amount, you get to a certain level and you can compete with friends on how fast you're learning and all that sort of stuff. But
slightly different.
Yeah.
Lauren, you're in a unique situation because you basically just landed in London 3 months ago. Mm-hmm. So I got to get your take on this city and what it feels like as a tech community. Mm-hmm. You've been to the Silicon Drinkabouts. Bryce Keane is a big part of this show. We started going to the Drinkabouts when this started, and it was just different for me because everyone's really friendly. They try to include new people, but they're not pitching their business model and pulling out their prospectus while you're talking to them. It's kind of got this laid back English feel, but still quite a friendly vibe. And what does this city feel like when it comes to a tech community? Because you've seen East Coast, West Coast, right?
And do you live? Is your offices in Shoreditch?
So we work out of Central Working.
Okay.
Yeah, so it's like I said, at this point we're a 2-person team. It's myself and then my
Central Working right beside Google Campus.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. So with
you're right
James
in the heart
Layfield,
of it.
you guys know James. Probably he's big in the So he's been really, and that's
we're new.
Smile and nod.
Okay. Yeah.
James.
Yeah, of course. No, but so
J-Dog.
I mentioned James just because he's one of the people that have just been, and the whole entire Central Working group have been so supportive of us. And you make a good point with Bryce, for example. Like when I landed in London, when I was moving here, I dropped my bags off at my new flat, and the first place I went was Drinkabout. Just 'cause I had done a little research and knew that that's where people in the technology scene hang out. I didn't know much about it, and I knew about the Three Beards. I'd been following them on Twitter for a little while, but didn't really know what to expect. And I actually brought myself and 2 members of my team who were here as well. We showed up and they were so nice to us. And I don't mean just the Three Beards, everyone was so nice to us. They're like, oh, you work at TaskRabbit. I've heard about TaskRabbit. We've been wanting you guys to come to London forever. Are you launching? Is that why you're here? Oh my God, we're so excited. And just the enthusiasm was almost overwhelming. And I got, I had followed Bryce on Twitter, and Bryce was like, oh, you're Lauren from TaskRabbit. You followed me on Twitter. It's really nice to meet you. And I was like, this guy, yeah, right? And so they took us
4,000 Twitter followers. 4,000
Twitter followers,
and they got each one.
Exactly.
That's what I need to do.
He's probably got a TaskRabbit working for him.
He definitely, yeah. But so I just was so impressed by just the community here. And that night ended up going out to dinner with Bryce and Joe and just kind of nerded out for a few hours about startups and what we're doing in London and what our plans are and how we can work with the Beards. And that was just such a nice introduction into the London startup community that it kind of just got better from there.
And that's not what San Francisco's like? That's not what Silicon Alley's like?
I think that it's a matter of the amount of enthusiasm that's in London. So right now it's small, it's tight knit. Everyone is kind of working together. They're trying to partner with each other to make sure both businesses are as successful as possible. And you even said it yourself. When you go to these events, no one's pulling out their resume or pitching you to them or telling you how much investment they ran. And I'm not necessarily saying that's how it is in Silicon Alley or Silicon Valley. I'm just saying that because it's newer here, there's a lot more enthusiasm and it just feels a little bit more genuine.
Okay, fair enough. Yeah. What's missing here, do you think? Do you think there's anything where there's a barrier there to the business getting bigger or London getting bigger?
No, not at all. I think London the London technology scene is exactly where it needs to be. I think that, it's right where New York was a couple years ago. Courtney Myers was on the show a couple weeks ago, and we work really closely with her, and she was just kind of talking about the difference between Silicon Alley and the London startup scene. And I feel like I take a similar approach as she does. It's very exciting to be here right now because you're getting to be a part of this amazing growth. So I don't think the only thing that I really would like to see there be more of is there's a lot of really amazing companies here, London born and raised companies. And I think that a lot of them deserve more venture capital than what they're raising. And I think it's kind of a shame that a lot of companies that are from London originally feel that they have to go to San Francisco or have to go to Silicon Valley to raise capital. I wish there was more of those opportunities for companies here, but that's something I can't really speak to. It's just something that I've observed.
Fair enough.
Yeah.
Colin, what am I missing?
Well, on the fundraising, where did you guys, who's backing you? What VCs?
Yeah, so First Round Capital, Founders Fund, our Founders Fund did our Series C. Yeah. So those are our 2 big ones. At this point, we're at a Series C, so we've had a lot of people contributing to our different rounds of investment, but those are the big guys.
And is it true that Tim Ferriss was like an original contributor or advisor? I mean, you guys started as a Facebook incubator in like 2008, right?
Yeah.
FB Fund.
FB Fund. Yeah.
They've been incubating back.
I didn't even know that existed.
Yeah, so it's really interesting. So Leah Buskey, who is our founder,
and she's from San Francisco.
She's actually from Boston. So she was an engineer at IBM, and her husband, Kevin Buskey, they actually, little known fact, they started the company together. Like a lot of people. Kevin is a little camera shy. Hi, Kevin. I think he's probably watching, but
behind the camera again.
Like,
there we go.
Yeah, he's like saying, "Damn it, Sherman, calling me camera shy in front of all these people." But,
oh no. Hashtag camera shy.
Yeah, but no, they're so great. And Kevin and Leah started TaskRabbit out of the second bedroom in their house in Boston. Like Leah was working at IBM, and she met with Scott Griffith, who at the time was the CEO of Zipcar. He had said to her, just see how far you can take this. Just see how far you can take it. And she took that advice. She quit her job. She built the first version of TaskRabbit herself. And then she was going back and forth to San Francisco, meeting with different people. And she had told me once that she had an opportunity to meet with Tim, but they were really strapped for cash at the time. Really strapped.
This is like 08, 09?
Yeah, like this was early
You guys
days,
raised
08.
cash in some tough years.
We did, yeah. And so she was, and I think it was a hard decision for her because she was like, this guy could definitely be an integral part of the business if I can get out there and talk to them. But I don't, we were running out of money at that time. And when I say we, I mean Kevin and Leah, because that's all it was. She like took a huge chance and booked a flight, even though didn't have the money to do it, met with Tim. And one thing I love about her, she's just like, she goes for it. And like, she's super enthusiastic about the business and she believes in it. She asked him right then and there, like, will you advise my company? And he said, yes. And then from there, it was just like a series of things. Like they moved the company out west, did, the FB Fund. I personally met Leah, I was ex-Zipcar for 4 years. I was working out of the Zipcar San Francisco office, and Scott Griffith, the CEO of Zipcar, was nice enough to give Leah, their CMO at the time, and Brian Leonard, who's still our VP of engineering at TaskRabbit, a little bit of space in the office. So I met her when I was working at Zipcar. And
so Zipcar gives her free office space and she steals her employees? Is that
no, yes, that is exactly what. No.
Going offline?
No. So what ended up happening was actually like my, Zipcar was the best. Like I did Zipcar straight out of university, so it was like the best experience that it could have been. But I was really interested in more of the B2B side, so I went to Lewis PR, which is actually a London-based PR agency, and did business development with them for a year. But TaskRabbit, I had met Leah, and like I was just really enthusiastic about the idea, and so I ended up emailing her and just saying, like, a year after doing this business development role, and was like, I see you're hiring marketing people, and I interviewed, and the rest is history. But it was definitely like very serendipitous that like she met Scott. Scott believed in the idea. She was working out of Zipcar, and then next thing I know, Kobe, her golden retriever, is sitting on my feet at an interview in the San Francisco office.
Yeah, I want to ask you a little bit more about crossing the Atlantic. We had Courtney Boyd Myers in here. She's kind of advising Y-Plan, who are going to be a guest on our show soon, who have gone from London to New York. Yeah. And we've seen a lot of Yanks go to invade Europe and take it over and fail. And I was just wondering if there's any like things you thought about or companies you modeled before you came over here. I mean, knowing Lauren, she probably researched the hell out of it. As knowing what you need to do and not do. When you take your American business model and your American entrepreneurism and come to a place like London.
Yeah. That's I think it's a really important thing to downplay it. It sounds terrible, but to downplay how American your business is, right? Like, we are an American company coming to London. That does not mean that we know more than anyone else here and that we're better or different in any other way. Bryce Keane I remember he sent me an email once because he gave me a really awesome idea for something. I was like stuck on something. I couldn't remember what it was, but he sent me this email, and I just wrote him an email. It was like, Bryce, thank you so much. You have saved me. This is awesome. And he was like, see, like us British entrepreneurs can teach you Americans a thing or two. And
Says
I was
the
like,
Australians.
And that's what I said. I wrote him back, and I was like, would have been a good joke, except for you're an Australian.
Yeah.
But like, no, but it just I wanted, it was very important to me as an American coming and representing the company, that we, like I said, completely ingrained ourselves in the culture here. It's so important. And that's why, I was really a little bit nervous early on with like localization, making sure we're nailing that and making sure that we are aligned with the people that we're going to be working with, because it's really important not to come and like overpower people. And so like when we came, like I just tried to get involved as many groups as I could, meet as many people as possible. Like Drummond from Go Car Share was like a huge person in the peer-to-peer collaborative consumption space here in London. It was incredibly helpful in like getting us linked into those types of groups. So I would just say that like, when you're, as an American coming to London, like it's really important to just make sure that you realize that like you're not playing by American rules anymore. You got to be respectful of local culture. I think it's really important.
And nobody wants to be the ugly American. It doesn't go over well.
No, it doesn't look good. It's not a good look for anyone.
Pitch me about, yeah.
But I would say, like Courtney has been, we're actually working with Audience.io as well, because they know Courtney. She launched GA here, a New York General Assembly, New York-based startup. So when I saw how successful their European launch was, it was like, well, what can you? How do you do that? Like, how can we make sure that we're doing the same things? And I think a huge advantage point that we have is that we actually have like our taskers are all from London. So we are inherently, our community. 50 of us are locals.
Yeah, if anybody has to get that right, you do.
Right.
Because your people are interacting with other people.
Yeah.
You can't ship 50 Yank rabbits over here.
No, we would never do that. It's like that's, that is our business, is when we come, we bring on locals and then we learn from them. So like I said, I work with our taskers on different types of tasks, helping to push the business forward every day. So it doesn't matter what the scenario is, it's on the phone. Like yesterday I was working with one of our taskers stuffing gift boxes, and like I just ask a million questions because I don't know everything. I don't know anything about this. I'm learning every day, but have definitely had a lot of fun doing it.
All right, I've got to ask her the questions. This is a question we ask everyone that comes here, and I'm going to hit you with it, Lauren.
Hey.
If you had to make a phone call to the 20-year-old Lauren Sherman and give that young lady a bit of advice, I don't know what she was doing at that point, and give her a bit of advice about what she should do with her life, what would you tell her?
I would tell her to trust her instincts, because I, every time I'm about to make a really big change in my life, I get really nervous, like really almost like sick. I'm so nervous. Like when I was about to move to London, I was terrified. When I was about to move to San Francisco, I was terrified, and I get so scared, and every time it has worked out for the best, like unanimously. And so I think I would save myself a lot of heartache and a lot of making myself worried sick if I just trust myself a little bit more. Like I inside of me know the best decisions to make, and I just need to trust my instincts a little bit more. Good
advice. On that same note, what's the best advice you've ever received?
Leah, I think as far as TaskRabbit goes, like Leah has a saying, which is every day she wakes up and decides what she can do in the next 24 hours that will push the business forward. And I think as an entrepreneur, that's a really, really good advice. And like building this business in London has been the most entrepreneurial experience of my life. And I do try to do that every morning, wake up and decide like what are the 4 tactical things I can do today to just push this business forward in the next 24 hours.
What were your 4 things today?
Yeah.
Well, this is a big one.
Kill London Real.
Yeah, I know.
Silicon Real.
Yeah.
There are a lot of people watching right now, so I think doing this is a big one.
Hopefully.
Yeah, let's hope
Maybe
so.
just 2 people.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So getting the word out there.
Getting the word out there, and we had some press opportunities today that are going to be coming out in the next couple of days. Some really big partnerships that I'm really excited about, and just I can't say much because I would be
disclosing
and
too
that
much.
a 24-hour thing is so you don't get caught up in too many long-term plans that you can't manifest in a day.
Exactly.
Okay.
Yeah, it's just about like living in the moment and saying like, we are a brand new business here. We are approaching London very much as like we are a brand new business and a brand new market, because the model that we built here is not the same that is in the US. Like the product is completely different, and so we're treating it very much that way. And so I think that it's really important to have things that you can wrap your arms around and say like, these are the 4 things that I can think of at 9 a.m. and accomplish by 10 p.m. And then I'm going to move on to. I'm going to move the things I didn't accomplish back onto the list in the next day, but I'm going to just have a few really tactical things.
It's kind of like Martin's
Biergards, yeah. I call it the today list, not the to-do list.
Yeah.
So I've got like
that.
a list of 20 things, but I try to get the fresh thing out in the morning, just 3 things.
I think writing it down is really important too. I definitely subscribe
Absolutely.
to the knowledge of like the secret and that sort of thing, where like if you write it down, it will manifest,
I find sometimes during the day I'll just kind of like zone out and just not know what to do next.
Yeah.
And if I have a list there, I'll just be like, oh, that's next.
Yep.
And so your downtime, I'm just kicking off next.
Totally. And it feels so good to scratch it through. You're like, yes.
Yeah, that's the best part.
Really
does.
Yeah, it really does. It's weird that way. Last bit of that question is what's your advice to the 20-year-old who's listening to this right now or watching us live on YouTube that that wants to be like Lauren one day, that wants to grow up and be part of maybe an exciting startup or be part of something new? Mm-hmm. What do you tell them?
Yeah. Well, first of all, if you're 20 years old and you're watching this podcast right now, I'm really, really impressed.
Why?
Because
we don't resonate with the younger generation.
No, I mean, I don't think I caught like the entrepreneurial spirit until I was at Zipcar, which was like 22, 23, which is when it really caught on for me.
Okay.
I was never really that into school. My professors never really lit the fire for me. But when I started actually doing it myself was when I got really excited. So I would say to those people, go out and meet as many people as you can. Talk to as many people as you can, and just get inspired by the people around you. And if you're starting to feel like you're not inspired, then you are doing something wrong.
Good advice.
Great advice.
I like it. Anything I missed, Colin? I mean, I know we could be talking for another hour delving into business nuances.
Quick question.
Has that already been 45 minutes?
It's been longer than that.
Oh, wow.
Quick.
Yeah.
One quick question. What's the average rate people taskers charge in London?
Yeah, it's about £12 an hour.
And is that competitive with exchange rates to the US, or do you find people charge more here? Just out of curiosity.
It's competitive.
It's pretty much the same.
And so is the like what we call the average daily take home. So if you look at the amount of money a tasker can make in London in a month and the amount that they can make in the US in a month, it's comparable.
Okay. Now we've got these cars for £25.
Yes.
And you're saying anyone that goes on your website can get the
Real
same
25,
value.
REAL 25, £25 off.
What would you recommend that they try? Like, what's something that probably people aren't thinking of that they could get on your site with that discount?
Yeah. So right now, like when I was over here, I was like emailing with my sisters who are in the US that are like, we're talking about Christmas gifts at this point. So I think unanimously, everyone is a little bit crazy and stressed with Christmas, and Christmas shouldn't be stressful. It's a time to
should be fun,
spend
right?
with your family and your friends. So I would say think of like the gift shopping, gift wrapping, the events that you have coming up. Think of your to-do list that you guys are all writing down, and look and see the things that you can outsource and try to outsource something, because when you realize that there are people out there that can help you with your to-do list, it's a sort of magical moment where you're like, wow, I don't have to do everything myself. There are people out there that can help me. So I would recommend Christmas, but if not, just like take a look at your to-do list for inspiration.
And they can shop for you? They can
shop
presents?
for you, yeah.
And
so
how do they shop for you?
Do you just put it up online? Like, so if it's shopping, right? I'm looking for someone to shop for me, and then someone bids on that. Is that how it works?
Yeah, so the way it works is when you go to our website, there are 3 categories. So it'll say like handyman, house cleaner, or Christmas help. And then when you click Christmas help, it breaks it down for you. So it's like Christmas shopping. You'd start typing, and then we pop up a little bubble that's like, remember to include these details. It helps the tasker get a better idea of what it is that you're looking for. And then you type in your postcode, and then you hit submit. So on the tasker side of things, they fill in the things that they want to do, the types of tasks, and then they draw a map, really, of where they want to work in London. And if where your postcode is corresponds with the category that person wants to work, and in the area that they're willing to work, that would be a match. So then we'd actually surface taskers for you. So then you can take a look at their profile, you can take a look at, the past experience that they have, their past reviews, and then you pick who you want to work with based on their hourly rate. Then you hit, you would pick your tasker. So you submit, I want to work with Lauren. Lauren. And then it's done. And then they get a ping on their mobile device that says Colin wants to hire you. And then you're launched into a live chat. So then you're just like, hey, Tasker, can you come by, Monday at 5 p.m. I have X, Y, and Z to do for you. And they can type back for you. You guys determine a place and a time, and then you're all set to go.
Well, you guys, is mobile app important for you?
Yeah. So right now, the mobile experience, the Tasker experience is completely mobile. We do not have a consumer mobile app, but that's going to be coming early 2014.
Okay.
Our mobile team just had a offsite. They locked themselves in a cabin in Lake Tahoe for a week and banged it out. And now we're ready to go into beta and alpha mode pretty soon here. So it should be coming soon.
Awesome.
Yeah.
What do you miss about the U.S. and what don't you miss about the U.S.?
Yeah, so I've gotten this question quite a bit because I'm heading back to the States on Friday. But I obviously, miss my family very much. I miss my boyfriend a lot. But one thing I really miss is Phil's coffee. Have you guys ever had Phil's?
No.
You're going to San Francisco. You got to try Phil's. It's the most amazing cup of coffee you ever had. Phil's coffee.
So I just started a coffee company, so I'm a coffee connoisseur.
So you need
Talk to
yeah.
Phil. What's so good about his coffee?
Yeah, so it's just like really rich and really just like it's delicious, and they have this, they make, and I don't know what they do to it, but like you can order it Phil's way, and it's like comes with like homemade cream, a little bit of sugar, fresh brewed coffee. And it's just really, really delicious.
All right, so you're missing that.
I'm missing. She
hasn't tried your coffee yet.
Yeah,
Phil's
I need
coffee.
to try your coffee. He was, I did get this. He did make me an espresso when I got
Startups
here.
should be helping startups.
Yes.
See,
I was just saying,
I need
when you were
some
talking about
Taskers,
we should
Yeah.
help. We should think about how we can work together. But more importantly, first action is donating to your Kickstarter when I get off.
There we go.
That's true. And my other question, you can't avoid it, Lauren. What don't you miss about the States?
That's such a hard question.
Come on. Everybody wants to see softballs.
What don't I miss about the States? I find
Baseball?
yeah, I don't miss baseball that much.
You can't steal
What are you saying?
I don't miss, I feel like very much, at home in London, and I feel like London is a great place to start a business because you can kind of be in your own world and there's not a lot of outside distractions. I feel very much like I don't miss kind of the rat race mentality, I would say. I don't miss that.
Okay.
Yeah.
Good. I think you really identified something that I feel about this community, and everyone, I think it's kind of it's our first real go at this. Maybe it's 5 years behind or 4 years behind the alley or 8 years behind the valley, but I feel like everyone's kind of in this together, and everyone wants to see somebody succeed big, or everyone gets to succeed big.
Absolutely.
It doesn't seem to be that many people that have had the success that can look down on you. Everyone's just we have degrees of success, and we hope everyone gets there.
Yeah.
We want to show the world that London's going to compete and excel and beat people in certain sectors.
And I think that the fact that I've been here for 3 months and I already feel very much connected to it and want to see everyone that I've been working with and everyone that I've met succeed. It's just the overall mentality is one of support here. And that is why, I think that London is the London startup community is in a perfect spot to be super successful. And I think it will be. And I am just so thankful that I get to be part of it.
That's why we're here.
Yeah.
To share these stories.
Yeah, exactly. And it's so much fun. Lauren, how do people get a hold of you? How do they get to your website? Is it TaskRabbit.com?
Yeah, no, it's TaskRabbit.co.uk.
Okay, cool.
If you're in London, if we have any US visitors, it would be TaskRabbit.com. And then if you have any questions for me, I'm just at Lauren Sherman. You can reach out to me directly on Twitter or Lauren@TaskRabbit.com. You can send me an email.
Okay.
Yeah.
Fantastic.
Cool.
Is that it? Did I miss anything?
First live kind of episode.
First live show.
Hopefully it went well.
Hopefully it's working well. If this is the first time they're tuning in live, could it get any better?
No,
you guys are sweet. Thank
Lauren's
you. I
really
had so much fun.
Yeah,
Thank you so much for having me.
Yeah,
It's
no,
really
our
great.
pleasure. It's just great to have everybody with the new story. It's really nice to hear Americans' perspective coming over here, and it's great to get your idea. It's kind of what we see in the community, all these crazy positive things going on.
Yep.
So that's why we're doing this show. We've got a brand new website, siliconreal.com. This will be out in about a week or so on the site in a fully edited version. So if you're watching us live, it is more than a webcam.
Yeah.
It's a little bit more than a webcam.
They can see all the cameras.
Right, they can see. Like I think people were like, "Oh, what's all the lights about?" Yeah. So check us out there. If you're listening to us on iTunes, you can come see all of our lovely faces on our YouTube channel, Silicon Real. We're at Silicon Real Twitter. Looking for people to help us out in the background. All sorts of things going on. Come be part of the show. It's so much fun. You get to hang out with super cool dudes like me and Colin, right?
Yeah, we're looking for help.
Yeah.
Maybe taskers for Silicon Real. We got lots of tasks.
You guys, we will talk offline.
Yeah.
I'm going to get you so many
taskers.
tasks.
Is it Bonnie that's going to hook me up with a wiki page?
Bonnie is going to do your Wikipedia page, and she's
Yeah. I need a person.
It's like, Bonnie, we need 6 Wikipedia pages.
I know. We've got some people who can definitely.
Is Bonnie watching? You think?
Actually, Bonnie is not watching. I talked to Bonnie when I was on my way over here, and she's working. She's out. She said she's been out tasking all day long, and her phone's about to die.
I could just see Lauren just cracking the whip with all the TaskRabbits. But
cool. No way, they're so good. It's not necessary.
Looks like you like self-starters. Cool. Awesome. As we say on this show, it's about the people. Lauren, thank you so much, and all the best with you guys. I hope you kill it over here.
Thank you so much.
All right. Take care, guys.
Spend a few years working at a firm that has people that you respect and learn your craft, because you may be a good hacker, you may be a good computer scientist, but what you never are coming out of university is a good software engineer, right? That takes craftsmanship, and it's an apprenticeship. You just gotta learn by doing, and you gotta learn by doing with good people.
Good advice, Kirk. How do people get a hold of you if people was watching this?